Brother DeRoy Cruz here again, your life applications officer. I just got done listening to a guy, a pastor, online pastor, as well as his church in Chicago, named Marcus Rogers. And, you know, this is my problem with Black America, and this is my problem with Black folks voting Democrat. This is my problem with Christians voting Democrat. Marcus Rogers was given advice by these people, and they were very, very good. The one guy, the one that really got me ticked off, he was very, very, very humble and sweet as far as trying to tell Marcus Rogers, stop defending yourself. Stop acting like you need to defend yourself. You don't have to defend yourself all the time. You would do better if you weren't defending yourself all the time, because you defending yourself all the time makes it look like you're in some serious battles when you're not in serious battles. This is the internet. Ain't nobody trying to go all out there like that. Just simply keep going in the spirit that the Lord is leading you. Keep going in that direction, and you'll see. You know, don't waste your time trying to respond to everybody that misrepresents you, okay? Great job, these four black men. Marcus Rogers, the only one like himself, sitting in the room, and I'm thinking, hey, this is pretty good. This is good black stuff right here. This is real good stuff, you know. Then all of a sudden, they asked him a question. They said, what about all that Trump stuff you said? And you was predicting his, you know, and why won't you admit that you made a mistake? And he went to telling them that he never said when, basically, the two terms were going to happen. But when he seen that Trump got elected the second time, they showed a clip of him celebrating. He had the flag out, the red and white, red and blue balloons and all that kind of stuff. They got kind of upset. And they said, and then instead of him saying, well, yeah, I was celebrating Trump, I'm glad the guy that I voted for won. There's nothing wrong with celebrating. I'm a patriot, you know. But no, he denied it and said, well, I was celebrating because of my prophecy, not because of Trump. Well, it doesn't matter if he was. He could have been celebrating for both. It doesn't matter, because we won. Okay? And this is the thing. You know, black people hating on Donald Trump, I must admit, are not the worst. But they are trying to act like they're hating on Donald Trump on a different level than the rest of, like, the white Democrats. Well, the white Democrats are using, per se, evidence to hate on Donald Trump. And the man's already won. But the black folks are trying to say, oh, we're going to use little bits and pieces of the white evidence against Donald Trump. But we have our own problems with Donald Trump. And that is oh, God. That is where I get fed up with black people. I just get so sick and tired of them not being able to accept the fact that you are blessed to have a country. Before slavery, you had no country. Now you have one. Okay? They kicked you out of Africa for whatever reason, whether you were not really Africans or whether you were too religious to be Africans, or whatever reason, they sold you into slavery. Okay? Now, if the shoe had been on the other foot, if the terms had been different, it had been the other way around, they would have just killed all them white folks. But no, white folks enslaved you because they wanted you to live. Okay? And God's will was in that. I really believe that. I believe the fact that the white folks, you were going to be mistreated and probably killed anyway. But they sold you into slavery, which meant that you could live. And black people read these stories that are being made up. How you going to make up stories about slavery in 2025? You write new books about slavery. As we go further and further in time, none of us were there. None of us even heard the truth about slavery. I've read some books to go back in time. Now we got new books out, new movies, making this like white people are more dangerous than what they really are. White people have done more than what they actually did. Slavery was more than what it actually was. Slavery was bad. But most of that, your job is bad. Tell your boss exactly when you're going to go on your vacation and tell me if you don't feel like a slave. When your boss tells you, no, you can't go at that time because I'm going on my vacation. You can't go on that vacation. How you going to go on your vacation? But I thought I could, like every so many months I could go on a vacation. You can't go on your vacation. I'm going on mine. I come first. When you get a 9 to 5 like I got, then you can argue with me about my vacation. But right now, you take your vacation when I come back, or don't take one at all. I don't care. You know what I mean? And I will receive the money I will keep the money since you didn't take the vacation. When I wanted you to, But I just can't wrap my mind around how people can't understand why people can't wrap their minds around the fact that Donald Trump did his homework. Donald Trump is just as mad as America. Just as mad at America as black folks are mad at America. They can't understand. They can't get this in their head. Like, they can't understand how Trump can be just as passionately angry about what's going on in America as, people in New York and Chicago are upset when they see these migrants getting on these trains and robbing and raping and doing all these things, in how many states and how many towns and all these things. Y'all can't wrap your mind around how a rich man, and I think that's what the problem is with him. He's rich. He's wealthy. You can't imagine him caring. I used to work with a millionaire. This man wanted to be in Africa, a white man too. He wanted to be in Africa more than he wanted to be at home. He wanted to raise money for Africans. He didn't care nothing about home. He'd leave his wife and kids at home and go to Africa with his white rich self. And he would get all these wealthy people together to help him go get clothes and all kinds of other things to go into these crazy villages. He took pictures of them and showed it to us. I'm like, oh my God. I hope if I ever become a millionaire, God ain't expecting me to do that. I hope being a millionaire don't call me to go there. I'd rather just give the money and not even go there, But man, he was going into these crazy villages. And sure, they had a good time, but man, I don't want to have a good time. I don't want to know. I don't want to see that. Forgive me. I've had black people get mad at me. I had black missionaries get on my case. You don't want to go and see your people? Who said they're my people? They sold us into slavery. Does that mean I'm African? Obviously, I'm not really African, or they wouldn't have sold me into slavery. Black people think they're African. Who told you that? Okay? Some of us probably are, but most of us ain't. I don't know. My point is, there's nothing about Africa that makes me feel like I belong there. There's nothing about Africans that make me feel like I have a connection. I feel the genes. I feel the genetic connection. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing about that part of the world that makes me want to pack my bags. There's nothing about that part of the world that makes me hate white people. Okay? There's just nothing about it. But the thing is, I can't understand for the life of myself why black people always got to take whatever's wrong with the white people to the next extreme. Like, there is nothing, absolutely nothing going on with Donald Trump that has anything to do with black people other than the fact that whatever good he does for black people. If Donald Trump don't do no better than Kamala or Joe Biden or Barack Obama, then he has done no disservice to black people. Now, Donald Trump, just within 5 days of the election, he has sent a lot of migrants home across the border. He's delivered hostages. He's delivered kidnapped children. And these guys are having this conversation with Marcus Rogers, and they're saying, well, you mean to tell me you think Donald Trump's going to do this and do that? Brother, he's already done it. I think there is a lot of blindness. The Bible talks about being blind and can't see. You know, it does. There's a lot of blindness out there. There's a lot of blindness out there. And this is probably referring to God or Jesus, but my God, man. Blindness. People cannot see and people cannot hear. And when I listen to rallies, you know, when I listen to Joe Biden, when I did listen to Joe Biden, they lost. They ain't no more listening to him now. I ain't got to worry about him. But when I was listening to Joe Biden, when I was listening to Kamala Harris, I could see the hypocrisy. I could see that they were saying whatever they needed to say because they had an agenda that they needed to fulfill first. And so they was going to hold up America. And don't get me wrong, I believe that they were going to fulfill their evil agenda first and then come back and help America. But they were trying within 4 years, and they knew they couldn't get it all done in 4 years, their conspiracy, so they did whatever they could do in 4 years, thinking that, you know, and what I love about Trump is Trump kept them so busy they weren't able to get it all done. And now, since they weren't able to get it all done because, you know, them trying to put him in prison and make him, you know, America's most wanted and all that BS, okay? Now what they've done is they've been so busy going after him and failing. Now the clock has ran out of time. And now Donald Trump walked right out of all these indictments and evictions and convictions and whatever, and walked right into the White House. And I really believe it's because God, not Trump, but God is doing something, using Trump to do it. And these guys were surprised when Marcus Rogers said, oh, he's not a Christian. And none of us conservatives think that Donald Trump's a Christian. They just looked at him like, oh, so y'all don't think Donald Trump's a Christian? No, nobody said. Who said he was a Christian? You didn't hear now. What are you talking about, man? Nobody said the man was a Christian. But he is fighting for our Christian rights because he knows what a country that has no Christian rights looks like. Not because he is himself a Christian or he's going to go down the rabbit hole with us Christians no matter where it leads to. No, he's not a Christian though. But, again, first of all, Christians are just involved in politics as they are in building churches. And you got to be involved in politics because politics involves your Christian rights. Politics Second Corinthians 4:4. 2 Corinthians 4:4. Man, I ran right into it. Okay. I need light. 2 Corinthians 4:4. Whose minds the God of this age has blinded, who do not believe, lest the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine on them. For we do not preach ourselves. A lot of people think we do. But Christ Jesus the Lord, and ourselves your bondservants for Jesus' sake. For it is the God who commanded light to shine out of darkness, who has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. But he talks about the people of this day and time. Therefore, since we have this ministry, as we have received mercy, we do not lose heart, but we have renounced the hidden things of shame, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of God deceitfully, but by manifestation of the truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of God. But even if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled to those who are perishing, whose minds the God of this age has blinded. There's more. That was just one of them. But I just can't understand how people are so blind and people are so deaf. I just can't understand it. And I mean, these white, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I believe it's a spirit. And you know what I believe? This is what I believe about black people. I believe that black people, because they refuse to reconsider, they refuse to repent or to think about and be honest with themselves. They refuse to be broken. I believe that black people are oppressed of the devil. I said this in another video. I believe they are oppressed of the devil. And the difference between me and a lot of black people is that I'm not. And I think some people just talk, but others are really, really, really oppressed. Some people, there's two kinds of black people. There's black people who are victims of the oppression of their people. They are groomed, the word is, by the oppression of our people, the black Americans. They're groomed by the oppression. What they call that, black white syndrome or something. They call that some kind of syndrome. Slave syndrome or whatever. Black people actually have it. But there's people that are victims of those that have it, and there are those that really have it. The argument that I had with a brother the other day, I don't think he had it. He's a victim, and he's being groomed by the politics of people that have it. And black people come in here, okay, you know, you want to sit there and defend George Floyd, whereas George Floyd would have no problem shooting you if he wanted something from you and you didn't want to give it right away. If he said, hey, give me your wallet, and you said, I ain't giving you my wallet full, he'd shoot you. He'd shoot you. If George Floyd, if you were around George Floyd in a private place and George Floyd wanted something from you, whether it be your wife, your kid, your money, whatever, he'd have took it. He wouldn't wait for your permission. He would just take it. He'd put a gun in your head and take it, or a gun in your wife's head and take it. That's what kind of person he was when you go through the history of who he was before the day that that officer, and that white officer might have been racist. But to me, ignorant, jailbait black dude meets white racist and gets killed in the line of crime. I'm sorry, I don't really have any remorse for that. Sandra Massey, I have remorse for her because they could have ran out of the house. They could have tased her or something. They didn't have to shoot her in the face. He told her he was going to shoot her in the face. He waited for an opportunity to shoot her in the face. He could have ran over there and put that woman on the floor and put her in cuffs instead of shooting her. Okay, you know, there's things he could have done. You know, and don't get me wrong, there are black people out there that are conservative like myself who they defend everything white. They always look for a loophole. And you don't gotta look for a loophole. Most of the time, white people are going to be right. But sometimes when they're wrong, let them be wrong. Okay? Because then you look like a real dude that hates the color of your own skin. You hate your own people. When you are always looking for a loophole to defend white people. Let them be wrong. They're sinners like everybody else. They're not special. They're not sin-free. They're sinners like everybody else. Okay? So, but, you know, these guys were talking, and they were talking to Marcus Rogers. And when people talk that dumb stuff, you know, and they say dumb things, you know, they want me to, you know, we ask the question, you know what I'm saying? We ask questions about, is the Bible a white man's religion, and you know, we ask so many questions, and I just did a video on that again. You can look it up on my Area 1 channel. I'm going to put this on one of my other channels. You know, black people didn't get us here. White people did. Okay? Black people didn't get us here. White people did. White people also put us through slavery, but white people also, we wasn't going to do it with just black people alone. It wasn't going to happen. White people had to help us get out of slavery. White people had to help us with Jim Crow. Okay? Martin Luther King wouldn't have been assassinated. He'd have been killed the minute he tried to step up there and tried to help if white people didn't have his back. Okay? We've done nothing for ourselves without the help or supervision of white people. Sorry. White people got us here. Black people didn't get us here. Black people didn't get us out of slavery. Black people didn't get us the right to be millionaires and billionaires and own homes and, you know, it was white people that put black people in football and basketball. You didn't just get in there and play well enough. They had to accept that you played well enough. They could have, you know, all them white boys that you played basketball with, they could have said, you know, same thing with football. There's plenty of white people that can play football. But I guarantee you there will always be more blacks on the football teams and the basketball teams because they don't want no racist rhetoric. It's too late to put racist rhetoric in the sports arena. It's too late. Too late for that. But none of y'all that are hating on Donald Trump, I can't take you seriously. I just, you know, whatever reason you felt that, first of all, that the first black president was supposed to do something for black people that he ain't doing for white folks, you were a fat joke. You don't know nothing about politics. You don't know nothing about how it works. Okay? You're lucky that they didn't make Barack Obama, which I believe they did. I do believe there were people behind Barack Obama that made him a puppet, but I believe he was less a puppet than Joe Biden was. I do believe that. And Kamala. Kamala didn't know how to have a press conference. She didn't know how to talk about what her plans were. Because she's thinking, oh, well, my one boss wants me to say this, and I bet my other boss wants me to say that, and you know, my boss right behind the camera over there, I bet she wants me to say this. And Joe Biden is just getting up there, let me stand here and slobber for a while, because I done forgot everything you bosses told me to say. And if I say something that I shouldn't have said, y'all gonna make me go back to the basement for the rest of the year, and I'm not gonna be able to run the White House. Okay. I cannot understand. You know, these guys that were talking to Marcus Rogers, they went from these Christian guys to all the stuff about Trump that ain't nobody saying this stuff but black people. Nobody. Oh, no, who told you that, man? No one's saying that. No one, they didn't even say that on the news, brother. You making this up. They didn't even lie about that one. You making this up as you go along, bro. You went from being a Christian Democrat to totally lying about Donald Trump. And Marcus Rogers was like, even in his church, because he's a black man, and his brother being a black man, when they found out that Trump was back in the running campaign, they was all like, oh, here we go, this crap. What's this fool going to do? But when they was having trouble with the migrants, and Trump got up there and said that what he was going to do, and Kamala and Biden got up there and said what they didn't feel necessary to do, they knew who they was going to vote for. But then you got these other black people. That's why I say, y'all must be oppressed. Y'all must be victims, not of white people, but of yourselves. Who's grooming you like this? It ain't white people. And white people are accepting the fact that, oh, he won. He won. Joe Biden walked out with a smile. But Kamala pissed off with her so-called black self, if she's black. Okay? And then everybody on The View that's white is like, well, the man won, so now let's talk about other things. No. Sonny and Whoopi, the only white person on there, on The View, that's still sitting there hating on the man and trying to act like that he didn't even become president. He won. What are you talking about? You're talking like he's still campaigning. He won. And that Behar woman, she just sitting there, like she Law and Order Special Victims Unit. You ain't gonna do squat, fake cop lady. You ain't gonna do squat. Go do something with yourself. Talk about something else. All these melanated people just act stupid. I really do. And I've learned one thing from between 1983 and 2025. I've learned one thing. Do not bet on black. Do not bet on black. Unless you're watching NFL football or basketball, do not bet on black. And if you do bet on black, don't let your favorite player say anything in the press conference. Don't let him say nothing about politics when he get off the field, or he ain't going to be your favorite player anymore. Because he's going to say something stupid, LeBron James. He's going to say something stupid that ain't got nothing to do with his lifestyle, because he ain't broke. He ain't a victim of anything. He didn't know George Floyd. He didn't know Sandra Master or any of these other people. All he knew was, oh, I got to say something because I'm black. You're a rich man. You're a millionaire. You moved out of the black community because you know you had to. Because you know they'll rob you. But you want to move over into the white community and complain. You want to move over into the millionaire, billionaire lifestyle and complain about what? Being black. They're not practicing Jim Crow in your town, Mr. LeBron. Ain't nobody spraying you with water hoses anymore and sicking dogs on you and got signs around saying whites only or blacks only in your little crazy town. What are you talking about? Go to work every day. Wealthiest man. One of the wealthiest people I got to work with every day is a black man. That's all he talk about is white this and white black. White this and black that. I get sick of it. You do know. I told him the other day, I said, you do know that you're one of the highest paid people in here. You do know that our department is one of the highest paid departments in here, and you're the highest paid person in our department. So, the people that put you in that position, they're black, right? Oh, they're black. Oh, they're white. Big effing surprise. I get so sick and tired of hearing it. I'm telling you, if God can do me one favor before I die, get me in the neighborhood with the most smallest population of black people possible. I don't want to come out of my house or go into my town or walk down the street or go to the local park, go to church or go anywhere and see nobody's pants sagging, nobody loitering, nobody smoking weed. I don't want to see, I don't want to see, I don't want to argue with nobody that looks like me about anything. I don't want to have to say, excuse me, to your black behind. I'm sick of it. And you got these Christians out here. And I had a dream about this, and it's very sad. When that Bible says there'll be many to come to me and said, Lord, we done wonders and signs and all kinds of things in your name. And he will say to you, I do not know you. Black people, you better get this right. You better get this right. I'm sick of it. Really am. Every now and then I run into a racist white dude. Every now and then I run into a racist white dude. And I've had people come to my job from out of town, you know, with their cowboy hats on and crap like that. They forget that this is Pittsburgh. We about as black as we are white, if not even more black. And they forget what are you doing here, man? First of all, I work here. And second of all, this is a free country. And third of all, take that hat off your head and ask your hat where you're at. That hat probably knows more than you do where you're at. Okay? This ain't Tennessee, brother. Okay? This ain't Alabama. But every now and then I meet a racist white dude. And a lot of times throughout the week, white people, depending on where I'm at, look at me like I lost my mind or they done lost their mind. But they never put their hands on me. They never tried to rob me. The worst that a white man has ever done to me is call me a nigger. And he wasn't all up in my face daring me to hit him when he called me a nigger. He made sure he was in a car with a gun loaded in between the seats and just flying by. And when I had to stand behind him at Baskin and Robbins, he remembered me. And I'm sure this much pee came out. Because God, if I want to decide that I want to talk about him riding past me, calling me the N-word, every night, on the same day, on the same night of the week, usually a Friday or a Saturday, while I'm walking up the street to go to work because he don't want me working in his neighborhood. His little ghetto neighborhood that ain't got no money in it. And that's usually where these people come from. Rich white people don't care if you're a black butt walking up the street in the neighborhood. They're going to be curious. They might even be watching you like a hawk, but they really don't care. I ain't never had a rich white man call me anything but maybe he called me boy. I don't know. But none of that is the crazy crap that I hear black people saying every day of my life. The cops came and they didn't do nothing because they white. The protesters were able to go out there and protest because they white. You know, the reason why people are getting fired is because they were all black. You sit there and you got best friends that are white. The minute they walk out of the room, well, you know he's white. Yeah, I can see that. Well, he's white. So he thinks. My dear. You know, only white people. I've met plenty of black people that are worse. You know, I really serious about this. In my retirement, the only reason why I need black people to come around is so I can pinch myself and know that I'm living in a normal world. Other than that, I don't want no white neighbors. I don't want no white. I don't want what I say. I don't want no black neighbors. I don't want no black businesses. You know, maybe a black police officer. I'm cool with that. Maybe some black educators. I'm cool with that. Maybe a black doctor, a black nurse. I'm fine. But out on the street, catching the bus, you know, hold me up on the highway or park behind me, you know, whatever. I can't. I've had enough. I've been dealing with the backside of this. You know, the poopy side, the nasty side of this ever since 1983. I'm 58 years old. All my life, I've been running and shaking my head at black people. From black people and at black people. Running from black people, shaking my head at black people like, what the heck did he just say? That makes no sense. What is that? I'm tired. I've had enough. I want my retirement to probably be predominantly white. I really do. Okay? I really do. I want my retirement to be 99% white. Maybe 1% black. I'm serious. I can't deal with... I can't deal with it. I just can't deal with it. Okay? Just can't deal with it. I can't deal with the fact that black folks have their own politics. And they have their own side of the Democratic Party. Sure, we got these white people out here acting like fools and being all woke and junk. And being stupid with the whole Democratic liberal thing. But then we got black people. I said white people, right, over here. And then we got black people coming in here acting like, yeah, well, even white Democrats are racist. But let me tell you about the black Democrat. And the only reason why a lot of black people care to say anything positive over the last few months before Donald Trump won was because a black woman. And they all knew she was dumb and was messing things up, but they wouldn't admit it because why? She claims she's black. That'll be all. I think I'm done. That's all. I think I said enough. Anything else I say will just be 100,000 cuss words. I'm just sick and tired of this. I really am. You know, them guys were sitting there talking about Jesus and trying to tell Marcus Rogers to calm down until they got to talking about Marcus Rogers and Trump. And then they went totally unchristian on his behind. They went totally satanic. Started talking like the typical heathen. When I retire, I probably will get rid of my YouTube channel. I don't know. Just whatever makes my life less black. I'm sick and tired. I've had it. People want to know why I'm leaving. Why it's bad everywhere. What you going to do in this town or that town? Last I checked, there was less black people there. Just a bunch of white people looking at me like I lost my mind. But again, the black people that I do run into, they're very, very nice. They're welcoming me. You should move out here, dude. You should move out here. You know, and everybody's good out here. We all get along. We never get along here in Pittsburgh. You know. And why should I believe that black people are innocent about anything? They can't wait to get in a fight about nothing. They can't even do Uber right. They can't even do Lyft right. You get in Uber, they want complete silence. They want to just blast the rap music and they don't want you saying nothing, whether you're white or black. They don't want you opening up your mouth. You get mad, you ask a question, they get mad, they got to turn their music down and, oh, you trying to say hello. Dude, I'm listening to music. Same thing when I used to do Uber and Lyft. Making a conversation with the dude, you know, to soften the air. And he's looking at me like, what? You know, hey, dude, I'm about to light up. No, you're not. You're not going to light that joint in my car, dude. No, dude. I'm going to pull over and let you out if you light that joint. I don't smoke. The sign's right there. No smoking. I don't even want cigarette smoking in here. You trying to smoke some weed in my car, fool? You either better get out or get it out of your get the idea out of your head. And we got people out here in my neighborhood. They only been here since the pandemic. And they already turned this into the projects, turned this into the ghetto. We got people out here looking for trouble. Got the cops here every night. This is not a black neighborhood. This housing complex here luckily allows blacks and immigrants to live here. And the only reason why blacks ain't got to pay the taxes and the piper like everybody else because they got immigrants here that ain't even legal. And just since Donald Trump got in the office, it's awfully quiet around here all of a sudden. You know. But these black folks out here, they got the cops up here, you know, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I can hear them out there screaming and yelling and arguing. And oh my goodness. Had enough. God bless you. Thank you for watching another one of me complaining. Go to my Area 1 channel for more. God bless you. I'll talk to you later.